Imagine you sign up for an annual subscription of Adobe Creative Cloud software, billed at about $60 a month. After using it for 3 or 4 weeks, you decide you don't want it and try to cancel it before the next monthly fee is due. You find, to your chagrin, that they demand a $300 early termination fee to cancel your subscription, a fee that you swear you do not remember ever reading about. You can't afford the steep cancellation fee, so you just continue paying for the monthly subscription. Or imagine that you signed up for a 30-day free trial of an Adobe Stock Photos plan that costs $80 a month. You really should have been more responsible and scheduled a reminder to cancel your free trial on time, but you forgot. You remember only when a monthly charge shows up on your credit card bill. You now try to cancel, but find to your shock that you're being charged a $400 cancellation fee. You remember reading that a fee might apply if you failed to cancel on time, but no specific fee amount was provided, and you had assumed that it would be $40 or $50 or something more reasonable, certainly not $400. When you forget to cancel free trials of most other things, say Netflix, and remember only when a monthly charge shows up on your credit card account, then your carelessness typically only costs you that 1 month charge. With Adobe, however, the $400 cancellation fee plus the $80 1 month fee you've already been charged is the equivalent of 6 months worth of subscription fees. You know that the situation is your fault for forgetting to cancel, but a $400 cancellation fee just seems predatory. Situations like these have been encountered by Adobe customers for years, including, admittedly, myself, who once signed up for a 2-week free trial, which turned into a 2-month trial, which turned into a trap, despite remembering to cancel on time. More on that later. In this video, we will discuss how Adobe deliberately tries to trick users into long-term subscription plans and how they purposefully and carefully hide the details of their cancellation fees, and how the US government is finally holding Adobe accountable for their years-long scummy behavior. On June 17, 2024, Adobe, the software giant behind such popular products as Photoshop, InDesign, and Premiere Pro, was sued by the United States Justice Department over their hard-to-cancel subscriptions. It has been part of a larger crackdown against such practices in big tech. Amazon was sued last year for hard-to-cancel Prime subscriptions, but in my opinion, Adobe has always been particularly egregious. The lawsuit alleges that Adobe hid details of an expensive early termination fee in fine print and behind optional text boxes and hyperlinks, and that customers faced additional obstacles when trying to cancel, either online or by contacting customer service. The early termination fee is equivalent to 50% of the remaining term of the annual contract if you cancel in your first year. Therefore, if you try to cancel after 2 months, the fee is 50% of what you would have paid for the next 10 months. The suit emphasizes that while the termination fee is deliberately obscured during the sign-up process, it is highlighted during the cancellation process, discouraging users from canceling. Adobe has responded that they are transparent with the terms and conditions of their subscription agreements and that they have a simple cancellation process. They say that they plan to refute the FTC's claims in court. In addition to Adobe Inc., the corporation, the lawsuit individually named 2 Adobe executives, David Wadhwani, president of digital media, and Maninda Sawhney, a company vice president, as defendants in the suit. It alleges that these individuals formulated, directed, controlled, or had the authority to control or participated in the acts and practices set forth in the complaint. However, the sections on these 2 individuals are heavily redacted. Adobe is largely regarded as the pioneer for subscription software. Once upon a time, most software applications, including Adobe's, simply charged one-time fees for their software. Before Adobe switched to a software subscription model in 2013, the practice had been relatively rare, and it was seen as a radical pivot. Just 5 years later, in 2018, according to a Forbes article, approximately 84% of software was now being offered as subscription services. Although met with ire from some Adobe customers who argued it was greedy to force customers to pay in perpetuity to use the software, Others defended the change to a subscription model as a positive thing. Users no longer needed hundreds or thousands of dollars upfront to use the software, and they received innovative new features without having to wait months or years for a new software release. However, the FTC lawsuit alleges that Adobe's new reliance on subscription fees incentivized the company to lock customers into longer-term subscriptions on the front end and discourage cancellation on the back end. This led to the numerous exploitative practices described in the lawsuit. Firstly, the lawsuit alleges that Adobe often pre-selected its annual paid monthly plan as the default option when customers tried to enroll, and that sometimes customers weren't even shown other options. If you chose to sign up for a free trial of Creative Cloud from the front page, you were taken to a screen similar to this one, with the options listed off to the side and the annual paid monthly plan selected by default. This presentation also makes the APM plan appear to be the lowest cost. However, the suit claims that Adobe's enrollment flows fail to clearly and conspicuously disclose the material terms of the APM plan, including 1, that the length of the subscription term is 1 year, 2, that the cancellation fee at the end of the year is subject to an early termination fee, and 3, the amount of the early termination fee. Basically, this presentation does not make it obvious that this plan requires a 12-month commitment, and that you will face a hefty fee if you try to cancel before the 12 months are up. When customers signed up for the APM, the lawsuit details how the cost of the plan was written in bold text, but the text referencing the early termination fee is written in lighter italic text. This italic text simply reads, "Fee applies if you cancel after 14 days, along with a tooltip icon. Hovering over the tooltip simply gives you a message, if you cancel after 14 days, your service will continue until the end of the month's billing period, and you will be charged an early termination fee. Nowhere on the plan selection page is the amount of the termination fee actually disclosed. The suit also alleges that certain consumers never even get this plan selection page at all. The website pre-selects the APM plan for them, and they do not even see the other subscription options, and they don't have the opportunity to see the tooltip. It is only when individuals are taken to the payment information page that the annual commitment is first explicitly referenced. This paragraph is the first and only mention across the entire enrollment flow that the plan requires a 1-year commitment. It is written in a small, inconspicuous font beneath the payment entry form. Even then, the 1-year commitment is not explicitly linked to the early termination fee. All it says is that you should cancel before a certain time in order to, quote, avoid a fee, unquote. It does not mention the early termination fee by name, does not mention that it arises if you cancel before the 12-month commitment is up, and does not specify the fee amount. Customers have to click on a link that opens a pop-up window in order to find the actual amount. The suit alleges that Adobe knows many customers do not notice or read the paragraph about the APM plan's terms, and they know that most customers do not click the hyperlink. Even within the pop-up window that appears when you click the hyperlink, customers need to scroll past lots of other text, which on mobile platforms is equivalent to multiple pages of text, to finally reach the section where the cancellation fee is specifically finally revealed as being equal to 50% of the remaining contract term. Finally, the suit alleges that Adobe is aware of customer confusion because they have received numerous complaints from customers and from the Better Business Bureau, yet the corporation has done nothing to remedy the situation. The other way Adobe trapped customers was on the back end. Adobe offered 2 methods of cancellation: self-cancellation online or contacting customer service. Whatever method users chose, the lawsuit claims that there were multiple purposefully placed obstacles. For example, people who opted to cancel online were forced to click through numerous unnecessary pages. First, customers needed to navigate several hyperlinks such as Manage Plan, Access Your Services, and Edit Billing and Payment before finally encountering the Cancel Your Plan button. Even then, clicking the button did not result in cancellation. Instead, people were forced to undergo several additional steps that the lawsuit called wholly unnecessary. First of all, they were forced to re-enter their passwords, even though they had just entered their passwords to access their account information, and they were sent to a mandatory feedback page requiring reasons for cancellation. Users often did not realize that at this point their cancellations were still not actually complete. Additionally, customers were often offered several pages of pop-ups with special offers designed to encourage retention. From the time you click the Cancel My Plan button, you might be shown up to 5 additional pages of questions, warnings, and special offers before you finally get a Confirm Cancellation button. Meanwhile, those who tried to cancel by contacting customer service often faced long hold times, dropped calls that forced customers to start over, and customer service representatives who delayed and resisted and kept trying to offer the customers deals, such as 2 free months of service. Many customers also claimed that even when they believed they had successfully canceled their plans after contacting customer service, they continued to see future charges appearing on their credit card bills, which then forced them to go through the arduous cancellation process all over again. During the cancellation process, whether online or through customer service, that early termination fee that was so carefully obscured during sign-up was suddenly heavily emphasized. The lawsuit states, Adobe's manipulative enrollment practices make the early termination fee an effective retention tool. Since many annual paid monthly plan subscribers do not know about the fee until they attempt to cancel, they are surprised and discouraged from canceling upon learning about the fee and its amount, which can sometimes be several $100s. The suit also mentions how people who forgot to cancel a free trial often did not realize that they would automatically be enrolled in a 12-month commitment or find themselves facing that termination fee that could be hundreds of dollars. As mentioned earlier, I personally had a frustrating experience with Adobe. About 3 years ago, I signed up for a 14-day free trial with an Adobe Creative Cloud service with student pricing, which cost about $20 a month for the annual plan. I carefully noted in my Reminders app to cancel the plan with a couple of days left if I no longer wanted it. As an aside, it's also important to note that students are only offered the annual plan, either paid monthly or paid in full upfront. Students do not get an option of the monthly plan, which allows you to cancel with no termination fee. When the cancellation deadline approached and I went to cancel the service, I was offered 2 more free months. I thought, free? Sure, why not? Once again, I noted the cancellation deadline in my Reminders app and returned to cancel on time. However, this time I was hit with an early termination fee of approximately $100. I was stunned. I had a vague recollection from the original sign-up of seeing that a cancellation fee might apply, but I figured that surely this didn't apply to free trials, especially if you canceled on time. And I definitely didn't recall seeing this very high, very attention-grabbing dollar amount anywhere. I contacted customer service. They explained that when I had accepted 2 additional free months, I had been accepting the annual plan. That it hadn't been 2 more months of the free trial, it had been 2 free months of the annual plan commitment, something which, of course, I didn't recall being indicated anywhere. That I needed to have canceled during the initial first 30-day free trial to have avoided the termination fee. Basically, accepting the 2 additional free months had been a trap. When you cancel during a free trial, you navigate the same cancellation process as paying customers and encounter a similarly designed page of special offers. I recall seeing a page similar to this. I can't be absolutely certain, but it's reasonable to assume that I did. If so, then I didn't miss any fine print. A paying customer would of course understand that the offer was simply 2 free months of their paid plan. But someone on a free trial might understandably assume that their free trial was simply being extended for another 2 months, especially since nowhere on the screen are you reminded of the annual plan or the termination fee, which at this point you only saw a deliberately obscure reference to at least a month ago. I found numerous other people online who fell into the same trap that I did. Some people managed to convince the Adobe customer service representatives to cancel their subscription after lengthy arguments. Others resorted to canceling their credit cards, reporting their cards stolen, or asking their banks to block Adobe's charges, measures that seem unfortunate and extreme to have to take against a software company. While $100 was about 60% less than a non-student would have been charged, as a constantly broke student, I couldn't afford to pay an unexpected $100 fee then and there, so I paid $20 for an additional 1 month of service. Each month, the cancellation fee would go down by about $8. By the time it finally got low enough that I could afford to pay it off, I had been paying the monthly subscription fee for 6 months. What was intended as a free trial wound up costing me about $170 in total, $120 plus tax in subscription fees, and an approximately $50 cancellation fee. Why would such a dominant industry player like Adobe need to resort to such sleazy practices? Adobe had revenues of over $14 billion from subscription fees in 2023 and total revenues of over $19 billion. The lawsuit's explanation that these predatory practices were a result of Adobe's high dependence on subscription revenue made a bit of sense, but they were still such an industry behemoth that they would probably still have many customers without these tricks. These tricks seem mostly just based on abject greed. Hopefully, the lawsuit puts an end to such practices. The suit is seeking permanent injunctive relief, rescission or reformation of contracts, restitution, the refund of monies paid, disgorgement of ill-gotten gains or other equitable relief, in addition to civil penalties. Most of my other videos are about scandalous individuals in business, tech, and science, such as Sam Bankman-Fried, the would-be trillionaire who destroyed his wildly profitable company due to greed and his decision to mix romance and crime. Check out that video if you're interested. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.